Cancer friends, this is Kristen, Redman, and today we're going to talk about what the planets are doing for you in 2018 and what energies they are bringing through for you for this upcoming year of healing and transition. And it's not just about transition, it's about the transformations resulting from the new beginnings and the endings that were initiated last year in 2017. It was really interesting energy that we had. And a lot of shift and change happened for you last year in terms of career and your work and your life purpose. And there's some big things that are shifting through this year that are pushing out the old that you're holding on to and helping you to embrace the new that is really coming through. And this in turn is going to bring you into a new level of self-acceptance and happiness like you haven't seen since like 2005, 2006. This is a really big year for you in terms of personal growth. Huge year for that. So the main highlights though for our Cancer friends are of course that Jupiter and Scorpio that's bringing through that this year of happiness and greater opportunities in terms of personal growth. Huge. But the other thing that's coming through too is some stability for your relationships, marriage, close partnerships, one-on-one relationships, friendships, working partnerships as well. There's some wonderful things coming through for that as Saturn has returned into its home sign of Capricorn, and it hasn't been there for like 30 years. So for you, that area of your life is getting some reestablished foundations under it in ways that it hasn't probably that you haven't seen in your lifetime for a lot of people that are watching this right now, or if it is, it's been a while since it's been able to really bring some good structure to that area for you as well. So let's get right into it here, and let's start with some of the other aspects that 2018 is bringing. Those are the two highlights, but this is where we're going to start with money. Like I said, last year was an interesting year for you because there was a lot of business going on in terms of work. Go, 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 go. And always kind of worried about where that money was at, though. A lot of work, but not necessarily the money sometimes when you needed it to be there. This is a year of restructuring the finances. Mars is going to be going through Aquarius this year and staying there for like 6 months out of the year because it retrogrades, and that doesn't happen every year. And when Mars, the engine that makes us all go, goes into a retrograde cycle, we all kind of stall out for a while. So for you, where that stalling out in is in the area of finances, but it's not stalling out. What it's doing is it's helping you to gain some confidence in a way to blaze some new trails in terms of getting financial freedom, because Mars is stuck in the sign of Aquarius. Aquarius is the sign of freedom. So we're trying to get the engine roaring in financial freedom is basically what it's doing this year for you. There's going to be a lot of looking to the past in terms of where you may have impulsively spent, because Mars is an impulsive little bugger. It will have you looking to that. Either that, astrology, it's black or white, okay? So either there was a lot of overspending in areas and being a little bit impulsive with the money, not so good with the money. It was either that or it was total opposite and going Ebenezer Scrooge style and not spending anything when you should have. And whatever it is, the Mars retrograde between June 26th and August 26th is going to have you really bringing that into focus. The universe is going to help you know where some new trails need to be blazed, and some opportunities are going to be coming through for you towards the end of the year in terms of making sure that that plan that you have for that financial freedom can come through. So definitely looking for that. Come September, you're going to have you'll see some major changes in that area. Now, the next part that we're going to talk about is what y'all Cancers know so very well is home and family. You are the sign of home in the heart and family. You rule the fourth house in astrology, and 4 in astrology represents the solid footing that is under us, the structure that is under us, and the childhood and the upbringing that we all go through to be who we are. As Jupiter tours the sign of Scorpio this year, I think a lot of us are going to be reviewing childhood memories, childhood traumas, dealing with issues that we've carried through our adult life that occurred to us in childhood, and we learn to let them go, to heal them, and to move on so that way we are more efficient in our lifetime now. That's a huge thing that's going to be happening. And as a result for you, that's going to make that massive personal transformations, huge transformations that are going to be happening as a result, because your 5th house is going to be activated with this Jupiter and Scorpio energy. The 4th house rules children, and it rules your overall happiness. So you are learning to transform that energy of the past into a better year ahead, and in ways that you haven't seen since 2005. Remember I said that earlier? That energy is coming back again. It's a good opportunity. This is going to be a good year with your own children as well. They are going to grow and flourish and change in ways that you are reminded of where you were at that age and what you needed in order to grow and flourish. And you're going to be able to give that and provide that not only to your children, but the inner child that's within yourself as well, too. Such a year of transformation for our Cancer friends to really let go of those pains of the past, I suppose you could say, right? But back to that home, right? Not only the childhood area too, but Venus retrogrades this year. And it's interesting because we just had a Venus retrograde last year, and it doesn't retrograde every year. So we have 2 Venus retrogrades in a row. And this is big for you because this is where some big solid changes are coming for you in terms of personal relationships. Venus is the planet of love. Venus is the planet of money, but it's the planet of the heart center. We know there's some big shifts for you this year with that. Venus is going to be retrograding this year. So there's a lot of looking to the past in terms of money and love for you. A lot of it. Especially come August and in November again as well. But that is going to bring some big changes moving forward because you're going to know what you need to be happy in the home. What you need to have done to bring happiness to your direct family. And you are going to be able to, especially after August, have that clarity moving forward with what you need, and you're going to be able to verbalize that better to make those changes come into place as well. Back to that safety and security and wonderful things that Saturn brings as it goes through Capricorn. Remember, I said that's going to be making the big impact in your marriage and personal relationships, friendships, work relationships. This is huge. Like I said, 30-year cycle. Some of y'all have never even gone through something like this before. There's such a wonderful force that's out there in the universe that the thing is, it's bringing this amazing security and restructuring of those foundations that are in those relationships for you, but it's increasing the responsibilities that you have in your role in that relationship as well. So there's going to be a lot more put on you in terms of maybe you're the one that has to structure the date nights, maybe you're the one that has to grow up in ways and be more mindful to have more self-discipline to change things in your life so you can be a better spouse. Maybe it's working more, unfortunately, so you can provide more so your spouse can have time to do whatever it is they need to do for their greater happiness, which makes greater happiness in your home. Or there's so many different ways that Saturn works, but ultimately what it does is it adds a little bit more to your workload or your self-discipline load, helping teach you some lessons and helping you to balance some karma where it needs to be balanced as well too. So there may be a little bit more put on you over the next few years, but ultimately what it's doing is it's stabilizing those relationships. It's making them move to a good solid future. And it's a good influence on relationships that have been struggling. Have you been struggling in your marriage? Have you been struggling in your relationships since 2014? Have you been struggling in your business relationships, in your friendships? This is the force that you are looking for. That force that comes in and reins it all in, that ties it all together. Let Saturn do its work, and it's going to over the next few years as it goes through Capricorn. That's where you're going to see the big changes coming through. So yay for Saturn. That just started too last week. So you're probably feeling that shift already. And here we go, moving into the next thing. Let's talk about your career. Because remember, last year was a huge year for you in terms of that career. Doing something that better fits where your soul is at now in this lifetime where we're at. So the thing is, Uranus this year is going to be moving into your career sector. This is huge. This is like an 84-year cycle here. Huge, huge, huge. And what Uranus does is it electrifies things and it changes things and it liberates us from areas where we have felt chained down in the past. Have you felt chained in your work area, in your career area? That's where Uranus has been for you since 2010. You were feeling restricted in those areas. And now it's finally letting up. Now that Uranus is leaving Aries and it's moving into Taurus, and it's going to bring much more stability for you because either you followed those nudgings and you did something that's more fitting for where your soul is and what your soul is here to do this lifetime, or B, you are finding a way to be more independent. Or maybe you're doing both. Maybe you're able to do both. Maybe you were that Cancer that was smart enough and intuitive enough, because you are ruled by the moon, my friend. You are the most intuitive of the signs. You followed that intuition to an area that brought you greater independence and greater happiness with what it is you're supposed to do in this lifetime. And as a result, there's some great things coming through. Now, like I said, Uranus has gone through that for the past 7 years. Started in, 8 years, I guess now, huh? It started in 2010. So there may have been some abrupt changes in your work life over that time frame. Great things are coming through as a result now, right? Now the stability comes, especially for those that were brave enough to make that jump, to be independent, to be following where their soul is meant to be, to follow those nudgings of the universe. May, when Uranus leaves that career sector of yours and moves into greater networking areas for you, you are networking with the right people now, and it's bringing you a more stable future in terms of your career and your work and the finances as well that follow. So quite an interesting year there. And not only that, as Uranus does go through Taurus, like I said, the next 7 years is going to be focused on making sure that you have new connections for this new career that you're doing, this new you. You're going to be around the right people. You're going to be in the right crowds. You're going to have new friends, new radical friends with different ideas you never would have thought of before. You may even go to a new church. You might take on a new job. You may surround yourself in new organizations. The people that are around you and the spiritual network that's around you is getting stronger, and new ones are coming in as well. There's a new web that is going to surround you on all levels, mental, spiritual, physical, all of it, to help you move into that new phase that's more you, the real you that emerges, right? It really is. And so this year, it is about personal growth. It is about changing you. It's about letting that happiness come through. Remember when I said you were ruled by the moon and it makes you intuitive? My Cancer friends, the moon ebbs and flows into a new cycle, minute after minute, day after day. And as do you, my friend, just as the moon goes through a new cycle every 2 days into a new sign. Your emotions can fluctuate up and down, and you can become very withdrawn and sad, more so than any of the other water signs, because you are so highly sensitive. Sensitive little crabs in their shells. It's the truth. It's the truth. It's the truth. And the sadness can overtake a little bit too much at times. And this is the year where you say, I think I've had enough of that. I want to change that. And the universe is behind you in a way this year that there's going to be an eclipse that happens in your sign, which is weird. We don't have eclipses in Cancer very often. And this is the year for the Cancer eclipses. Eclipses in astrology mean new beginnings. That's where the endings finally are let go. Remember the endings I was talking about before that are childhood traumas that are brought forward into this life that kind of prevent you from loving, they prevent you from working, they prevent you from communicating. Whatever it is those things are doing, you're ready to let those go, and it ultimately lets in this happiness in ways that you haven't seen for so long. You've got that Jupiter and Scorpio that's working with you, but these eclipses are bringing a new phase for you in terms of that happiness and the personal growth that is meant to happen for this year, especially if you are somebody that has a birthday around that eclipse. The eclipse happens on July 12th. So do you have a birthday a couple of days around there? This is going to be a massive year for you. Everything I've said here is going to be playing a major role for you, especially this year. Especially this year. But there's other birthdays too that are being affected. Okay, so we've got our July 3rd through the 9th folks here. Neptune out there in the sky is going to be making a really good connection with your sun. The sun in astrology represents you, okay? So you've got Neptune, the planet of dreams, making a good connection with you. Your dream life is going to be massively increased in this year. You're going to be seeing more spirit guides around you, maybe physically, but maybe in your dream state more so, or unconscious. You're going to be getting more signs around you in your conscious state as well. You're being guided to get those answers that you've been seeking. And spirituality is going to be a huge factor for you this year as well. Really reconnecting with the spirit and energy of God is a big thing for you, and increasing that prayer life and working with that energy of God. Now, the great thing with Neptune is that it dissolves structures that are around us. And for you this year, it's making a big impact on that letting go of the childhood past, really letting go of these things here. It's dissolving those old structures that you used to use as a foundation, or maybe even a crutch, right? It's dissolving that away. So this is a big year for that, letting go and moving forward for you. Now, if you have a birthday between July 11th and the 14th, now this is extra important for these people right here, because you're in that dead zone of that amazing eclipse of new beginnings for personal happiness that's happening this year. But you also have this. You have Pluto, the planet of transformation, in opposition with your sun. An opposition in astrology is like it's one way or the other, right? Opposites attract, and you get this amazing connection, or you have something that repels so terribly and it causes you some friction. But it's all in how you look at it, right? So we've got Pluto, the planet of transformation. This year, 2018, my Cancer friends that have a birthday between July 11th and 14th here, this is the year of transformation for you like you've never had. You're letting go of things of the past, and you're moving into who you want to be now. You've restructured who you are now. This is deep, profound transformation this year for you. And you have the eclipses behind you to flush out the old and push in the new with greater confidence, because you are happy. You're happy with who you are. You're happy to let that shine. And that ultimately is going to bring you greater happiness and greater growth and greater transformation right this year. The huge other things too. Pluto, the shadow side of our Pluto here is that it is the darker aspects of us that we don't necessarily want to deal with. Our power, our need to control, our struggles that we have because of that, our intimacy issues surrounding, of course, sex, but also money and sharing those things with others, and the things that we hide from others in terms of those two things. Those things are going to be brought out into the forefront to you as well this year, to deal with, to work with, to shift and change. And there's a time to get to the bottom of those hidden aspects of yourself. You've known they've been there for a long time. And this is the year that is let go, because you bring it out of the darkness of the moon, and you shine a light on it in these eclipses, and you bring the new beginnings as a result. Powerful year of transformation. You know what I'm going to say? probably the strongest 4 days out of 2018 are in that time frame. And if your birthday is in that, you are definitely meant to have a massive year. Good things come, right? But with good things come a lot of difficulty to get there. So know that you have a strong network that is especially there for you. Remember, I was talking about those networks coming through. A spiritual network that is dispatched now, especially just for this one time in your life, keeping you safe mentally, spiritually, and physically as well as you transit into this next phase. Archangel Haniel is the angel for the moon, angel of intuition, angel of knowledge, and she is the angel for Cancer energy. Okay, so we are going to call on Archangel Haniel now, angel of the moon, to give us a little bit of extra guidance for our Cancer friends and the message that she wants you to keep in mind of this year of profound transformation. Absolutely. Wonderful, good year. What a wonderful year. 2018 brings stability for us all. Doesn't matter what sign you are. It's bringing some good things, good solid ground to the craziness that has happened since 2014. So let's see what Archangel Haniel has for the Cancer friends. Ooh, feel that one. Okay. Oh, look, and it's a water card because you're a water sign. Page of Water is so cool on a lot of different levels because I know that there's a new phase happening in your close relationships, marriage, intimate relationships. This is the Page of Water as it comes through as a messenger, and it's a messenger bringing new emotions, new energy, new spiritual insights, new relationships too for those that are looking for a relationship and new beginnings in them as well. This card, I'm just going to read what it says here. New person enters your life. A relationship begins a new phase or heightened psychic abilities. And that kind of goes in, especially with our July 3rd through the 9th friends, the ones that Neptune's coming through, and you're going to have that increased spiritual network and more dreams and such like that. Your intuition is going to be on hyperdrive this year, my Cancer friends, but especially those with that birthday right there. And it's time to really get in contact with that spirituality that's within yourself if you've let it lie dormant. So no matter what, they want me to tell you that relationship hits a new phase and it's solid ground moving forward. That's the good thing. You've got Saturn, the planet that's going to bring you stability in that area for you that hasn't been there for 30 years. You start a new relationship, it's going to have great energy. You get married this year, it's going to have great energy. Just don't get married during the Venus retrograde at the end of the year. That's all I'm saying. Between September 8th through, I think it's November. I didn't even look. It's November 1st, I think it is. Oh my gosh, I feel embarrassed now. Just don't do it. Just don't do it at the end of the year. But other than that, but if you are looking for a new relationship, it's going to have great solid footing as well. You get the Saturn and Capricorn side that proves it, and you've got this card here as well too, standing behind it, saying that they're behind you and they want you to be happy. Be happy, right? Don't worry, be happy. And when you find that you're not, call on Archangel Haniel, the angel of the moon, and she will help bring you out of it as the angel of Cancer. So, my Cancer friends, if you haven't gotten all the information you need or you want to know how this impacts your chart specifically directly, look at the link below and you can connect with me for an hour reading. It's $77 2018 special, and what we will do is go over your chart and see exactly how these eclipses and Saturn, the areas that they are bringing all these things directly and how it directly impacts you. So my Cancer friends, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful and blessed 2018. Bye.